What's up, everyone? It's Leigh Kakaty from the band Pop Evil, and we got a brand new album out everywhere March 17th called Skeletons. You need to get your copy.
That you do, my friend. Thanks for joining us today, Leigh.
I love it, man. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So as you mentioned, Pop Evil will release your latest album, Skeletons, on March the 17th. So how are you feeling about it?
We're excited, man. I mean, it always feels like forever for you to get the album finally out there when it's done. So it's exciting times, man. I mean, it's their 7th album, so it's very big deal. So can't wait to finally get it out and get out there playing it.
Oh yeah. And tell us a bit more about the album from a musical point of view and what you're going for with it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's the evolution, I think of where this band's going, and I think when you look at your growth, and this is our 7th album, I feel like it's our best Pop Evil album, and I'll tell you why, because that is cliche, right? You talk to a singer, they're going to tell you it's the best album. But I really feel like, it's this, the albums leading up to this have allowed this to be that we were very driven and consistent about really shaping our sound and making sure that we have a consistency there that is different than the previous albums. Let's go back 2 albums. We had a producer, Kato, who was one of our close friends, our mentor. He ended up passing away tragically in a motorcycle accident. So it really shook us, man. I mean, that was when you lose your mentor, you lose your rock. I mean, a producer's everything, man. He helps you with your sound. He helps you, he basically takes the band and helps us kind of like, tie the loose ends together, right? And make everything kind of go around. And, we lost him. We basically spent an album trying to search for producers and find that right person. And, we found him with Drew Falk, and, Drew had written Waking Lions with us and helped do that. He'd done a couple songs, and previously, but it always felt like we needed more time with him, and finally we had an opportunity, this album. Look, let me talk to Drew and see if he's willing to do the album. And he obviously saw the same vision and saw what we were feeling, and once he got on board, this album it just started to all come together. We weren't trying to overthink anything. It was just very organic, very fun, very uplifting. With the pandemic and all the negativity that we've buried emotionally, personally, it just was able to come out. I think in the past 2 albums, this one and the last one, about a 1.5 to 2 year window, they were both written. So it was just awesome to have that much time. And certainly when we weren't able to tour, it was great to be able to be creative in a different way, focusing on the songs and the sound. So when we were able to tour again, we didn't know at the time, but we were hopeful that when we got back, that we would have a whole different kind of energy and a whole different kind of momentum that we were creating internally to make sure that, when we came back out, we were going to be more grateful and appreciative of this opportunity that we've had to play music and tour. So it's been awesome to see that kind of come together behind the scenes. And now finally, with this album on the horizon of being released, we can't wait to see what the fans think about it.
I think too, like from an outsider's point of view, looking in, mate, like I've been a fan of the band ever since your first album, and from my angle, I think you guys, each album you're getting a slightly harder edge, and it's more rock orientated rather than the sort of the pop rocky sort of element. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Well, I mean, maybe. What I'd say is right around the 3rd album, which was our heaviest album at the time, I just lost my father, so there's a lot of anger. I'm very much a writer on what I'm dealing with, and I mean, I was in such a dark place. I was like, trenches, deal with the devil. Like there was a lot of that stuff came out, and then, it was such a dark place. I had to literally, to save my own life, I had to I couldn't go there. I couldn't go to those places anymore. So, I had to like sort of go to the light, so to speak. I had to write songs like Footsteps and Be Legendary, things that like were uplifting to just get me out of those and remind me that like, look, dude, like you're not alone. People deal with adversity all the time. Like we need to do this. And so those songs really helped me. And then of course, when the pandemic hit again, it was like, wow, like this is that anger and that darkness kind of came over, again. It was like, look, are we going to even be able to do this anymore for a living? So once you actually let your mind go there, it was it was not a fun place to be. So, I think that stuff was buried. Maybe there's still some of it buried. And, once the music was written, I would just shut my eyes and whatever came out, So I think that there's certainly a heavier edge. I mean, you think about with Pop Evil, we've always had, metal influences and hard rock influences. It just, when the singer's not going there, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So I think that now and we hear the fans. We know they want more of that kind of thing from us, and they've been loud. They've been made themselves clear about it in the past. But you go in, these albums are moments in time, right? That if you go to write this album a year ago, it's going to sound different than if you wrote it today. So it's just, there's snapshots in a short window of your band's career, and somewhere in that weird situation where fame or whatever that means, people like it or they don't, so it is we certainly don't apologize for our journey, but at the end of the day, I think it's been awesome to see us evolve. I mean, I think there's the band members, the lineup that's there now, that we're all kind of on that same page. We all want to rock, man, and then we want to make that live show more enjoyable, more upbeat, more energetic for our fans. And I think that when you look back at our catalog, we already have certain songs that we play. We don't need to just regurgitate the same songs. We want to still bring that energy, but be creative to bettering that, right? We want it to almost be like the new stuff is just as good, if not better, that we don't have to play the older stuff unless we want to, So it's interesting and fun when you think about it from a live perspective with 7 albums and, the opportunities we can have moving forward. But certainly from the album, and this album especially, we're definitely excited about, how it came out, and it really, puts us in an awesome position to really take it further, as we move on to future albums and future recordings, so we're stoked.
Yeah. Oh. And you're quoted as saying of Skeletons that this is about us as a band stripping everything down to the bones, and that you're trying to capture the energy of your live show. So can you explain what you mean firstly by stripping everything down to the bare bones?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not just about the band personally. It's about, like, with your us off the stage as people, right? Like, I think when you're coming off that pandemic, and not to keep talking about the pandemic, I know everyone's, if they're just as sick about hearing it as I am, but like, I think that, these songs were written in that era. So it definitely has to be said that we had to figure out who we were, without our comfort zone. And our comfort zone is our music. Like, not only weren't able to tour, like, we couldn't even just go locally to our pub or bar and watch someone else play, or it was all cut down. So it really shook me personally to be like, well, like, maybe what would I do if I'm not doing music? Like, so it's like a lot of us had to, like, strip it down to the bones, man, take it down to the where it started, and not only be appreciative, but remember what it felt like to be excited again about doing this, and I think for us too, I can speak for myself that, we were, 5 albums in, just ready to release the 6th album when the pandemic started. So there was a lot of we've done past 7, 8, 10 years. So it's been a lot to process, that I know that we needed that break emotionally. But I think coming off it was like, wow, there's this newfound energy again to just do what we loved. And I think that stripping it down to the bone, getting back to the basics, which is hard rock and metal, where we all started from, is you hear that in this element again, having fun again, not overthinking it. Like, I think sometimes in the studio, especially from us and early on, we weren't always studio musicians, right? We were blue collar. We're from Michigan. None of us had no money, so we couldn't afford studio time. For the longest time, we just do a jam, and if it was good, it was good. If it wasn't, then we sucked. It was like we didn't care. We just wanted to play. And then now moving forward, that we're starting to become better musicians, in the studio, and more confident in the decisions we're making and taking different kind of risks. But this album, especially, being more consistent to our fan bases from the past and our new fan base, to be like, hey, we're going to do a blend of that duality, which is not only just old school recording methods and old school pop evil, but still being open to the digital aspect that is technology that seems to be taking over everywhere. I mean, you've even probably heard it, like, oh, concerts are going to be on your phone from now on. It's like, what is going on? Like, okay, so instead of just abandoning that and making fun of it or not, we wanted to face it head on. Okay, cool, let's hit that button. Oh, that's a great sound. How are we going to make that? Could we fit that into pop evil? Could we make this a pop evil? So how could we? And having fun with the technology, I think was just, it was like we were kids again. It was like, okay, what about that guitar tone? Let's mess with that. Could it be digital guitar tone? Cool. Let's blend it with a real guitar. How's that work? Like, there's different things you can do now in the studio to not be judged. And when your band is supportive of this and supporting of each other, to just be creative and not overthink it, it's amazing what you can make. And we wanted to make sure we kept that energy that is similar to our live show, and not trying to get in a vocal booth to record vocals. I want to be out in the open where the people are, and where, it's similar to what we're doing in the studio, the live show, rather than being burying me in a headset and trying to have me record in front of no. It just, we wanted to do things to make it more what the band is in the real world. So it's definitely fun. It's a great process. We were really enjoying the energy that was coming out of it. And we really felt like we were able to capture a lot of it on this album. And I think when you listen to it, it's definitely an album, certainly compared to the old school Pop Evil albums we've written before, that really stands out, certainly to me. And obviously I've written all of them. So it's like, it's definitely a different place that we're all in collectively. And we're definitely excited about the future. And, and kind of almost ripping that Band-Aid off and just like letting the floodgates come in. It's time to rage. Let's throw down. When it's time to throw down, let's throw down. When it's time to be positive and give people inspiration and hope, let's not shy away from it. When the song demands us to just throw your fists in the air, not think, and just mosh, let's do that too. Like, let's not worry about what people think about the band or what we think about we've done in the past. Let's just be kids again, man, and strip it down to the bones and just be us in the moment. And once we did that, you really can hear on this album just the amount of excitement and energy, even from the sonic tone of the drums. I mean, the way, we're in a different place, man, and it was really, really good vibes.
Yeah, sure. And you've released the songs Eye of the Storm, Paranoid, and Dead Reckoning from the album. So overall, would you say that they're a good sonic representation of the whole album?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not really thinking about that. I mean, we're writing the songs. I think of the songs like kids, right? Your kids look like twins and they're not twins. Like, I don't know. I'm not really thinking about it. You'd have to tell me if they sound the same. We don't make music to sound like the rest, but is it cohesive, and does it sound like the same band on the whole record? And yes, I definitely know we were definitely like that. Are there songs on there that could be a little far and different? Maybe. But it felt like the whole band, we're definitely taking some risks on the album as well, but it's definitely rooted in hard rock and metal, and certainly you get moments of metalcore on this album too that you haven't had, from a Pop Evil perspective in the past. I mean, are we a metalcore band? Of course not, but we're influenced by them. We're fans of it. So you get those influences that we're not shying away from, not just with me, but with every band. It's like everyone has their different tastes and preferences, and we didn't want to shy away from that. Like, if someone so likes this, then let's chase that rabbit hole. Let's chase it down. And if the song's great, we're not going to overthink it. Put it on the record. If not, then hey, next song, let's write another one. So there was a lot of good energy and a lot of positivity, and we weren't really thinking about labels and what people were going to think. We just knew if anyone was going to like it, just based off the straight up energy of the song, we felt like this was gonna definitely be something people would enjoy when they hear it live, or certainly when those inspirational moments in the song. We felt like there was moments for me where I feel like, wow, these songs are going to help a lot of people because they started helping me, so I was looking forward to being like, hey, if it's going to help me and I'm the one performing it, I know I can deliver that song every night because I believe it, because I wrote it and I believe it and passionate about it, where it would hopefully lead to, some positive inner strength for someone else, and to give back, to be kind in this day and age, not just because we're a hard rock band or whatever and we're black doesn't mean we don't care about that next person next to us, our neighbor. Like, we want to be kind and to give back, man. At some point, 7 albums in, you want to leave your mark to the genre and leave it in the fact that, like, it's just being kind, man. Just writing songs that can really help this generation of people who are listening to you, and we're not really worrying about where it's going to be tomorrow or the next day. We just want to make sure that for now, these songs are helping people and are helping us live to deliver the energy we want to do to make it more enjoyable for our fans when they come when they come immerse themselves in the possible world.
Speaking of helping people, mate, you also partnered with Heart Support to spread awareness about mental health by giving away custom shows. So how did that partnership come about?
Well, it started with Joey, who's done an incredible job. He's such a great artist, and him and I were big sneakerheads. So we started dabbling on that last tour we did, and he was, before the last tour, he's custom painting his own shoes. He's really, and they're incredible. So it started, and we had an opportunity. Whenever we get opportunities to give back, I feel like they're not always, they don't come up as often as maybe they should, but once this came up, I mean, it's such a great cause to bring awareness to it. And to the sneakerhead culture, when we're such big fans of it, it was a win-win for both sides. And it was certainly awesome for Joey, who is such a great artist, to bring awareness to him and giving back to people in a positive way. It was just really great, man. So honored to be a part of it, and hopefully more of that kind of stuff in the future.
Yeah, cool. So is that ongoing, that giveaway for the shows, or is it finished up?
No, I think it's going to be finished up. It's just a one-time thing at the moment, I think. But you know, it could change. It could change. We could do something else moving forward. So we'll see.
Yeah, cool. And the day the album comes out, you also start a US headlining tour too, mate. So no rest for the wicked, mate. Straight out there on the road.
Yeah, man, we're excited. We've had about 4 months off to really kind of recharge our batteries and do what we need to do to get this album released the right way. And you know, we're ready. We're excited to get back out, and hopefully this album cycle, we want to make up for a lot of lost time. I mean, we lost a lot of momentum, you know, your way as well, and we're hoping to get back there on this album cycle too. And you know, just one thing at a time, though. We're just going to get back to, you know, touring the States first. Obviously, that's where we're from, so we're going to start there, headline, get as much of the new stuff, really get accustomed to it by playing it, and enjoy that, and then just keep pushing, man, as much as we can to promote this album.
Beautiful, Leigh. All right, well, thanks very much for your time today, mate. Skeletons is out on March the 17th, and what I've heard, she's an absolute cracker, mate. So congratulations, well done, and hopefully we see you on this side of the world sooner rather than later.
I can't wait. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much, man.
No worries, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Right on. Likewise. Hope you get some sleep.
I'm straight to bed now, brother. Catch you soon.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.